you've watched, now I'm gonna pronounce this wrong again. Brahmastra Shiva. It was on our list of Indian films to watch. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but you've caught it already.
Yeah, we've been going through some Indian movies, and this appealed to me because it's like a first movie in like the start of like a shared universe. You can see what they're doing. They're going for like the Marvel type thing. So this Brahmastra, these artifacts of power, and there's obviously these various sort of deities have given their power to various mortals to help protect against.
Do you know what the trailer
the
looked
evil
like to
bad
me?
guys?
Do you remember the film, the Nicolas Cage film, The Sorcerer's Apprentice? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Not quite that MCU level, but still a pretty good special effects, pretty good film.
The stuff in like that. I mean, the main character. I mean, because it's going for a slightly sort of like it's trying to be like a Marvel-y type thing. You can't help but think of the main character as what. So he's like a sort of, what kind of tropes have we got? Here's like the Peter Parker trope.
Okay.
He's this DJ, and this within about the first 5 minutes, you've got a big song and dance number, which is really colourful. It's like a big festival thing, and it's gloriously colourful, and it looks great, and it's joyous, and it's like, oh, this is quite good, and he catches the eye of this girl. This is when it starts going downhill because there's tons of like eyeing each other across crowded rooms, and it's a little bit annoying. Another song where they're sort of flirting and dancing around the street. Again, super colourful. I mean, taken out of context, they're great little musical numbers.
I mean, it sounds good already.
Come on, get a move on. There's the action in it I think is really weak, actually. It's like what they've done is there's sort of like an overlay of a sort of power. So some of these characters, I don't know, like a monkey type character, for example.
Yeah.
So they've obviously got a guy on ropes, like the wushu, Hong Kong style of hanging people around on ropes. And then they've just CGI this kind of monkeyish aura, glowing spectacle around him. It all looks a bit like the way Wanda uses her powers in the Marvel films.
Oh, yeah.
And this one guy, summoning fire. And I feel like they've just got stuntmen jumping around, and they've just put a layer of sparkly CGI over the top. And when the main guy's doing his parts, I couldn't help but imagine him without the special effects, just standing there with a huge fan off camera blowing, wind on him to make his shirt billow in the wind and his hair blow up in the air. And he's pretending to be, throwing these fireballs with his hands and stuff. And he just looks a bit lame, really. It doesn't feel as if like anything has any impact. It doesn't feel like it's really integrated, the actors and the effects. It really feels like a surface layer to it. And there's bits where it's really clearly... 18 level stuntmen being thrown around. It goes on for ages as well. I know we've talked about tea tests, haven't we? Does this pass? We've talked about the tea test before. Would you go out and make a cup of tea in the middle of it? I went and made a cup of tea, and it came back. I felt the same scene was still going on. I was like, my fingers twitching around the fast forward button. I was really disappointed there. Disappointed.
We watched Three Idiots last, and I've also watched Lal Singh Chaddha, which is the Indian Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And both of those, so I won't talk too much about Lal Singh at the minute, but Three Idiots was these charming characters, and it was well done, and the characters are likeable, and the song and dance numbers are charming. Does it not quite have this? Is it nearer to that sort of rough and ready, Fast and the Furious KGF style feel?
Yes, it's nearer that. But, even like KGF looks good, doesn't it? I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the KGS, but I couldn't deny the fact that they looked great. Yeah, and they were really nice. They were nicely shot, even though I didn't like the editing. But I think that, stylistically, I could see what they were going for. But no, this has got I don't know, it feels like it got like a sort of rushed feel to it. I don't know how you pronounce it. He's Ranbir Kapoor. He's quite a big superstar. That's the main character in it. And yeah, he's likable, but it just the plot just drags its feet. It takes so long, and it's such a long film, but it also feels kind of confused as well when it's talking about all these protectors of these things, and there's this baddie lady who's again I can't help compare it to anything other than when Wanda goes bad in Doctor Strange, really. Yeah. Just a bit like her, and a lot of sort of standing around generic bad guys standing in a field finale, which isn't spectacular at all. And it's pretty weak. To be honest, it's the sort of thing where if someone, I feel like if I some of the Indian films we've watched now, if someone had seen this and said, I ain't watching any more Indian films ever again, that was a load of rubbish. If that's the kind of thing they produce, I'd say, oh, no, give something else a try. Because I don't think this is a good example. Comparing this to the other things we've seen so far, I think
a lot of Bahubali was fantastic. RRR was brilliant. Three Idiots is great. Yeah.
I know. I mean, all of them, they all seem to be quite long. A lot of the Indian films we've seen all seem to be quite long. But this doesn't feel like it doesn't justify it at all. It's not like it's got an epic story like Bahubali has, or even KGF, which has got a story that spans decades or anything. I mean, it's just like a superhero movie, just padded out.
What a shame.
Yeah.
What a shame.
And yeah, stuntmen floating around on wires. I'd give it 3. I'd give it 3 floating stuntmen out of 10.
Oh, what a shame! What a shame! I was hoping it was going to be a good one. Well, you'll have to watch Last Singh Chadha and see what you think of that.
Restore my faith.
There's no floating stuntmen in that at all.
If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a subscribe.